Is the bear market over? That's the million-dollar question we're going to be discussing right here in the video, so let's get right into it. All right, now if you've been watching the stock market over the last couple weeks, it would be easy to believe that the bear market is over, especially with these nice big moves higher that we've been experiencing over the last couple days. However, is the bear market really over, or is this just another bear market rally to bring more people in before the next major leg lower? Now, of course, nobody's going to know that until the actual situation plays out, and we can all look back with 2020 hindsight vision and say, I knew it. I knew exactly that was going to happen, right? We all do it, but the fact of the matter is we need to continue to watch this situation and see what is actually going to happen with this market. Are we still going to remain in a bear market, and are we going to see another major leg lower? Is this thing going to turn around and rage on higher as a new bull market, or what are we actually going to do here? Well, in this video, I want to talk about what the large institutions and those institutions on Wall Street are now saying in regards to this market, if the bear market is actually over, or if we're likely going to see a lot more pain ahead. So let's get into it and discuss what is actually going on. So first things first, I want to point this out for you. Just a few days ago, earnings kicked off. Well, if you've been watching the markets for any length of time now, you know that earnings season is a very important time. This is typically the catalyst that moves stocks in a big way, and generally the market as a whole. Well, so far we've only received a handful of earnings so far, and they've been all across the board. Some earnings have been coming in good, some are not so good, but first off, we need to look at the guidance. What are these companies guiding going forward into the future? That is also very important because earnings are from the previous quarter. That's hindsight, right? But we need to look into guidance. What are these CEOs actually saying about their companies and the future? Well, one thing that we do know is that a lot of these CEOs are very concerned about supply chain issues, and more importantly, they're concerned about inflation. That is a big deal right now. So there's going to be a lot more earnings to come here over the coming days and weeks. And again, we'll need to continue watching that very closely to see what actually happens here, because this is likely going to be the next big market moving catalyst to determine where our stock's going from here, right? Are we going to actually fall back into the bear market and see another major leg lower, or are we off to the races here and we're back on our way to the all-time highs that we saw way back in January of this year? Well, good questions. Now let's quickly talk about what the institutions are now saying about this market. Is it a bear market? Is it a bull market? Or is it some kind of inbred market? Whatever that means, right? So let's talk about the details about all this. So here's what we're seeing right now. And again, this is across some of the big institutions out there and what they're actually projecting right now. I'm seeing estimates anywhere between 15% and 25% is what the analysts, the experts, and these large institutions are anticipating. Which direction? Lower. That's what they're saying. As of right now, institutions are suggesting we're likely going to see stocks fall another 15 to 25%. I even did see some estimates coming out at about 30%, another 25 to 30% in some estimates that stocks will likely fall from here. So again, is this going to happen? Again, we have to say this much. Only hindsight is going to tell us, right? So we'll have to continue monitoring this situation to see what's actually going to happen here. However, I want to throw this out there. Based on everything that we've seen so far and this rally that we've been experiencing right now, this is not really that characteristic of a bottom being put into a market yet. This rally that we're experiencing right now, it did not really come in the sense in which a bottom is typically put into a market. Usually we see a huge capitulation type of move where there's a lot of downward pressure day after day, huge moves down, and then all of a sudden the market bottoms and then takes off from there. We didn't see that. We never did see the huge capitulation in this market. So we'll have to continue watching that, because I wouldn't be shocked one bit if this is just another bear market rally going up a little bit higher and basing around a little bit before they bring in the next major leg lower on this market. And again, this bear market could be relatively short-lived. We're already into this thing for over 6 months now, right? So the typical bear market lasts not that much longer, right? What is it? I had a video out about this not that long ago, but it's typically anywhere between like 8 and 13 months or something. So realistically, the average bear market does not last all that much longer than what we've already been into this thing, right? And remember, the bear market is typically pegged from when the all-time highs are put in until we actually breach that 20% reduction in price, which was actually put in on June 13th. So Just kind of keep that in mind, right? So at that point, until now, we're already into it for several months already. So there's probably not a whole lot more months of this bear market to go. But again, just like anything out there, it could be prolonged, it could be short, it could be average. We don't really know those details quite yet. But these are the projections out of the big institutions, what they're anticipating right now with this market, and kind of what they foresee going forward. However, I want to throw this out there as well because we need to take this into consideration. What do institutions typically do? Well, institutions, they need to create counterparty. What does this mean? Here's the thing. Institutions are in it to make money, right? Of course, they trade just like anybody else. They trade the markets, they invest in the markets, they buy stocks, they trade stocks, things like this. Well, how many shares do you think that they have of different stocks? Do you think they have 100 shares? No, they have hundreds of thousands, even millions upon millions of shares within all of these different companies and stocks and ETFs and all kinds of different things. So when they anticipate that a big market move is going to be coming either down or up, what do they need to do? They need to create counterparty, right? They need to get other people to come in and take the opposite sides of their trades because that's how they either get in or that's how they get out, right? So typically at the bottom of a market, a lot of times you'll see these institutions coming in saying, the sky is falling, and this market's going to continue to go down another 10%. Well, at that point, guess what they're doing? They're probably buying like crazy. Meanwhile, they're instilling panic into the markets, trying to get people to sell so that they can come in and buy all those millions of shares off of people. So you got to take that into consideration as well. I know that a lot of times we want to look at these large institutions and say, oh no, they're working in the best interest of us. Are they really though? Or are they working in their best interest? I'm going to go out there and say this much. They're probably working in their best interest, even though some of the guidance that they do give probably is pretty solid sometimes. But I also want you to know that they do have to create counterparty. The way that they can do that is get on the TV waves, the radio waves, and say, the market is going up forever. Buy, buy, buy. And then guess what they do? People come in and take that recommendation, they buy, and what are they doing? They're unloading, they're selling to all that counterparty because people are coming in buying what they have to sell. Sounds pretty genius, right? So I'm just saying, this is the fact of the matter. They need to create counterparty because they have so many shares to unload with these different stocks and ETFs and things like this. This is how they do it. So I just want to throw that out there to let you know that when they come out and say something like this, just remember, maybe they're doing the best, they're working in the best interest of all of us, and they truly want to give the best guidance, or are they really working in their best interest? And again, I'm not saying that they're all a bunch of liars. I'm not saying that at all. I'm simply saying we got to look at the real situation and what they actually do. This is what they actually do. So we have to look at this and just consider, what's really going on here. Is the information that they're giving, is this really what's happening? Is this what they really believe? Or are they just trying to get me to buy and or sell so that they can buy those shares from me, or they can sell those shares to me, and take the other side of my trade? Kind of get what I'm saying here? So that's what we need to look at going forward. But the fact of the matter is, according to my assessment and what I'm looking at right now, I truly think that this bear market is not over yet. No, this most recent rally that we've been seeing here is likely nothing more than just a little bear market rally. And typically, I've mentioned this before. Usually, here's what it comes down to. The first big leg down in a bear market is usually the one that kind of catches everybody off guard because everybody's buying the dip, right? In a bull market, the market pulls back, you buy the dip, boom, you're off to the races once again. Great, you got a nice entry. So usually the first leg down in a bear market is the big one because it catches everybody off guard, right? Everybody's waiting to buy the dip, they buy the dip, and it keeps going down. Wait, what? I thought we were supposed to buy the dip. What happened? Why didn't it work this time, right? And it keeps going down and down and down. Scares everybody. And then all of a sudden you get a nice big bounce. That's a bear market rally. And then all of a sudden it goes up and up and everybody thinks, oh, it just went a little bit lower and that's all we had to do. We just had to buy the dip lower. And then it goes up and then all of a sudden we realize, oh, wait, just kidding. It was a bear market rally. The rug gets pulled, and usually the next leg down is the big one. That's usually the big one that the rug really gets pulled, and then it falls real fast and real hard. So just throwing it out there so you can be aware of this going forward. Am I suggesting that this is going to happen 100%? No, I'm not really sure. I'm just telling you what I've experienced and what I've seen play out time and time again as I've been watching these markets for about 13 years now, literally every single day. You see the same patterns play out time and time again. So just want to throw that out there so you can kind of pay attention to this. And again, we'll have to watch it. maybe this thing continues to rage on and this is the new bull market and we go off and take out the new all-time highs that we're putting back in place in January of this year. Maybe that's where we're going, or maybe we sit here and base around for the next year. That could be an option too. But another thing we need to watch too is also the Federal Reserve. What is the Federal Reserve doing, and are they going to continuously aggressively raise rates, or are they going to back off because they're too scared? Well, I think all of the above could be a possibility, right? Realistically, the latter is probably more realistic. They're probably going to get scared and say, just kidding. We're going to back off on raising these rates. We're getting scared now. So that's maybe what's going to happen as well. Anyway, of course, as we do get more details on any of this, or as this whole situation continues to transpire, I'll continue to be here for you and break it all down, let you know what's going on, and the best assessment, as well as what the institutions and what other people are saying about the market and what they anticipate going forward. Anyway, hope this gives you a better perspective on the market and what's going on right now as far as the bear market, if we're going higher, if we're going lower, if we're going to base around, or what's going to happen. All we do know is that the market will continue to trade on no matter what. It will do something. It's only going to do one of three things. It's going to go up, it's going to go down, or it's going to go sideways. That's it. I know it. It's guarantee. Promise. That's all that's going to happen with the market. So that's it. That's a wrap. I'll leave it there for now. So again, thanks so much for watching this. I really do appreciate it. Subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Share the video with your friends, family, social media, and go back and check out some of the other thousands of videos here on the channel. Until next time, have a good one. Thanks so much for watching this, and I'll catch you again later.